So welcome to this morning's webinar by Dyslexia Box, which is going to be all about the Orcam Reader, and we're going to have Lauren in a second come on. Of course, the webinar is supported by the Dyslexia Show, and of course by the LVA group, which is my company. Just to let you all know, you're all in listen-only mode as attendees. As I said, the webinar is being recorded. You can ask questions in the question box, and also there will be a Q&A session with Lauren that I will manage after the session. Just to let you know, so Dyslexia Box is a company that's there for the workplace. They're committed to making workplace more accessible. They're a specialist that has a wide range of assistive technology, and they are a company that offers that wide range of needs, not just dyslexia. It's looking at the whole area of disability and accessibility. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually show you my face, so everyone can see me. So Lauren, if you want to put your camera on, and I'm going to then unmute you, Lauren, and then we can then see you. There you are. Hello, Lauren. How are you? All right?
Very good, thank you. Very good. How are you?
I'm all right, I am. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make Lauren the presenter. And I can't actually see you at the moment, Lauren. You've disappeared. Oh, there you go. You're back again now. So do you want to press share my screen?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to ignore that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you do your introduction, and I'm going to remove my webcam and hand over to you, Lauren. So it's all over to you.
Great stuff. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for the introduction. So hi, everybody. As Aaron mentioned, I am Lauren and I'm from Orcam. And today I'm going to be talking to you about Orcam's newest product, the Orcam Read. Now, some of you may be aware of Orcam. You may have heard or may know of some of our other products that we currently have out on the market, such as the MyEye or the MyReader. So those are both the wearable devices which attach onto the side of glasses, similar to the picture behind me here. But today I'm actually going to be talking to you about the first of its kind handheld AI technology reading device. Okay, now I've got a pre-recorded demonstration which will last around about 15 minutes, so not too long, and that will go through the Orcam Read and all its capabilities. But beforehand, I just want to briefly explain the product, introduce you to the product, so you've got a little bit of knowledge before the presentation. Now, this is the Orcam Read. So this is the handheld device which can read any printed or digital text from any surface at the push of one button. Okay, now it's the only handheld device which can capture a full page of text and start reading back to you instantly. Okay, now just to make you aware, this is a lanyard. There's no wires attached to it at all. It's completely handheld, completely portable. Now this is designed for anybody with reading difficulties, reading fatigue and dyslexia. Okay, so perfect for students, for example, studying in the library, or if you can use this around the home as well for, I'm going to be using it in my demonstration on recipes, so a great idea. There are two main reading functions with the Orcam Read, one being a laser frame mode and one being a laser cursor, both of which I'll explain in more detail during the demonstration. Okay, now I have tried to answer quite a few questions in my demonstration anyway, but if there's anything I've not covered that you do want to ask, then feel free, as Aaron said, pop them in the comment box, and following the demonstration we'll be doing a live Q&A session. You have probably got 1,000,001 questions on the device, which is absolutely fine. So just to reiterate there, the Orcam Read is a fantastic piece of technology. There's nothing like it out there at the moment. And it's perfect. You know, we've mentioned a couple of examples there, but if you're studying, you're in the library, pop your headphones in, wired Bluetooth headphones, and you can get on with the work. Similarly, if you're at home and you want to connect it to a speaker, for example, an Alexa or Google Home, and make the whole house listen to it. So an absolutely fantastic piece of kit, as I'm sure you'll agree. So we launched this product about 3 weeks ago in the UK. It is now available to purchase in the UK. And I will now pass over to Aaron to see if we've had any questions come through.
We've had a number of questions come through. We have done so.
Fantastic.
So the first question is can you change it from being left-handed, from right-handed to be left-handed?
Yes, so the device is not specific to one-handed. So I just use it on the right because I'm right-handed, but it's exactly the same if you move it to the left hand. So it's absolutely perfect for both left or right-handed.
Okay, that's
No
right. And that's fine. And then, then I think someone's asked the question of how does it clip to your glasses, but I think they've got confused with the different device on that one.
So no, this one is a handheld device. So it's a handheld device designed to be held like a pen. And as I say, your finger just rests on that trigger button there. So same length as a pen, a little bit chunkier, but this one is completely handheld.
Okay, so the next question is, what's the difference and advantages of between seeing AI and captioning a full page reading the book, and full page of text reading back? So that's quite interesting. Do you know what seeing AI is?
Yeah. So I think the main advantage of this, and it's like I demonstrated then, by capturing that full page of text, it just allows you to perhaps get on with something else as well. So you can then obviously, like I demonstrated, you can shut the book, you can carry on doing something else. So if you're, for example, cooking, you might want to be listening to it as you're then continuing with the next step. So I think that's a differentiator there really, and it allows you to, it's a perfect piece of technology that, like I said, can capture a full page. And sometimes, that can be an A3 page, as I mentioned. That doesn't need to be an A4. The further you hold the device away, the bigger the frame gets, captures the more text, and will read the whole page to you.
It's specific technology, is it, for a specific tool, and that's
absolutely.
Okay. So next question is how do you pair a Bluetooth headphones to it?
Okay, so really straightforward. It's all done through the menu setup. So if you've got a Bluetooth speaker, make sure the Bluetooth is switched on. You can search for a Bluetooth device in the menu. So it will say searching for Bluetooth device. You click to confirm. So, and when I say click, it's the main trigger button. It will pick up the Bluetooth device and it will read out to you what the device is. So it might say a pocket speaker, for example, or it might say a Google speaker. Once you identify which Bluetooth device it is, you simply click to confirm and the device will be paired up. So the minute you go to click a piece of text and it reads it back, it will now come through the speaker.
So the menu is all read out to you anyway when you're going through the menu options?
Absolutely. So to access the menu, you press and hold the power button, and in the meantime, press the trigger button whilst you're holding the power button. You enter the menu and it talks you through the menu. And all you need to do is use the plus and minus button that allows you to jump through the steps in the menu.
That's fine. So next question is would you recommend it for VI learners?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can imagine, a lot of our products are let's say targeted for visually impaired as well. So I think with this, we had a lot of people saying at the beginning it's perhaps not for visually impaired or people that are registered blind. However, that's completely changed now, because in actual fact, we quickly realized that even though it's a laser, okay, and everybody says you might have to see the laser, you actually don't, because you can identify where the piece of page is in front of you. You quickly get to grips with how far away the device needs to be in order to capture that page. So, we went out and we showed this device to a number of visually impaired and people that are registered blind. And actually, you don't need to be able to see that laser in order for it to work. If you know that you simply move it back, if you've got a sort of A4 page in front of you or whether it's a smaller book in front of you, and the minute you move it further, it captures the whole page and it begins reading. So actually, perfect for visually impaired as well.
This one's not a question. It says not a question. That's amazing. So,
fantastic!
When you took the
yeah, I mean that's a great response, and that is something that, as you can imagine, it's cutting edge technology, and that is something that we love to hear feedback like that. So thank you for that.
So we've had about 4 questions, all roughly the same, and it's basically says, and I think you said actually. Sorry, that I've read one question wrong. Let me read this question first. So when it uses the OCR engine, does the Orcam system have any does it use any font size restrictions? Does it have any font size? And how would you change would that change the rate of accuracy? So font size restrictions. So say that if the font was big or small, is there any restrictions on that?
Not at all, not at all. So the device is designed to read the smallest text that is legal. So I think it's an N4, I believe, is sort of the smallest text. I could be wrong there. But it's designed to read that small text. So even on the bottom of that cereal box, so as I did the example there, as you can see, it was about to read all of the sort of the ingredients at the bottom, which was very, very small text. And I think that's the smallest text that legally is allowed to be on a product. So it will read, I mean, it reads text that even I can't read. So
that's brilliant. So now I've got 3 questions. They're all the same. So you mentioned this in the video. So you say you can change the volume, you can change the speed. Can you change the tone or the accent?
So no, so at the minute we've got a male and a female voice, and the female voice is English, and I believe the male voice at the moment is American. But as I say, we are an Israeli-based company. It's a very, very, as I say, cutting edge technology. We are constantly looking at things like updates on the devices. So that might be something in the future that we can look into. I can't promise anything, but it is something that we're constantly adapting. But at the moment, it is English and American.
That's fine. So the next question is can it read digital text, so e.g. off a computer screen?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we've used this a number of times. So if you've got emails up on the screen, for example, sometimes it's better using the cursor mode when you're pointing at an email, just so you can start it from the beginning of the email. Because otherwise, if you're capturing the full screen, it will read the address across the top. It will read all your favourites that are pinned to your tab. It will read everything. So probably best using that cursor mode and just pointing it. And you can point that from quite a distance as well. The cursor mode, I mean, I did the example of a product on the shelf, but actually if you're in a room and you're wanting to read a poster on a wall, the device does stretch quite a way in order for it to, pick up a poster on the wall. So yeah, absolutely, you can read digital text on a screen, not a problem.
That's right. Does it? How much data can it store, and can you transfer that data?
So the data isn't, because it doesn't connect to the internet as it's working. It doesn't really make a difference how much data it can store, because effectively it's not storing any. As I say, you can't connect it to the computer whereby you can take a picture of something and then it sends that text to a computer. And the reason behind that is, obviously, as a company, we made a decision for this device to be a completely standalone offline device. And that's the reason why then we don't connect it to the internet when we're using it. And it just more for accessibility. Nowadays everybody has these apps, and you're constantly thinking, have I got Wi-Fi? Is my Wi-Fi strong enough? What if I'm on a train in the middle of nowhere? As I mentioned before, the examples, if you're in the middle of a library studying, we don't want people to be worrying about things like connecting it to Wi-Fi. And also, from a security point of view, it doesn't connect to any of that. You don't have any of those security issues with it being completely standalone offline. So that's the reason why we decided to keep it as a standalone device.
So next question, this is an interesting question, and this is looking at it from a child using the device. Is the laser dangerous in any way if you shine it into a child's eye? Is there any health issues with that, or lasers, while holding it in your hand or on the book?
Yeah, so not at all. I mean, obviously we suggest you keep it to the book and keep it to the text that you're reading. But again, if you're shining it to a poster, for example, on the wall, we're not going to suggest to start shining it into people's eyes. It's not dangerous to the point, when you're holding it, for example, the device doesn't get hot in any way or anything like that. So we just advise, obviously, you keep it to the piece of text. So when you're using the cursor, keep it to what it is you're wanting to read. And similar when you're reading a book, for example, keep it pointed down. But we understand that lasers can be very exciting for people, and we feel the same. So hence why we've included them with the Orcam Read.
That's fine. So you've kind of answered this one, but is there a way? So the tone is very robotic. Is there a way of softening it? And I think you've kind of answered that's you've kind of answered that question anyway. Is there ability to connect it to a phone or external screen, or to help with text navigation when it starts?
Okay, so the only capability in terms of connecting it would be via Bluetooth, or obviously connecting it to the Wi-Fi. So we wouldn't be able to connect it to another screen. Similar in the fact that we don't connect it, we can't take text from here and put it onto a screen. So it would just be through Bluetooth devices that we can connect the device to, so it reads through a Bluetooth device.
Yeah. Can you get it to repeat the paragraph you've taken? So basically, say you've taken a picture of it, and there's another question later on. Can you pause it and rewind and go back? So they're kind of the same question. So if you take a picture of, say, that paragraph, can you get it to start again without taking the picture again?
So you can pause the device at any time by double clicking the trigger button. So if the device is reading a paragraph to you, and for example the doorbell rings, okay, you can double click that button. It will pause where it's up to, okay. You can go and do what you're doing, come back, and as it's paused, you'll hear it'll just keep beeping every so often, just to show that it's paused. And then in order to resume it, you can double click again and it will start from where it left off. Now, the other thing you can do is, as the device is reading, you can actually press the plus and the minus button, and as it's reading, if you press the plus button, the device will actually skip a couple of lines. So as we're reading something, sometimes we skip a couple of lines to get to the part that we really want to, and the device can do that as well. So if you're wanting to go backwards, for example, you can press the minus button and it will skip back a couple of lines. So if you're reading something and you're not concentrating, and then all of a sudden you think, oh, I wanted to listen to that bit, I'll head back, press the minus button, the device will skip back a couple of lines and you can start it again from where you want it to, basically.
That's fine. So the next question is can you use headphones, which you did answer. Do you want to just show the headphone jack? Is it a headphone jack in there?
It is, yes. You've got the headphone jack.
Yeah.
Can you see that just at the back there?
Yeah.
And as I say, you can then connect it to Bluetooth or wireless, headphones as well.
Is there a maximum distance on it to read from?
It's just where you can see the cursor. So, I mean, I've done it from across the room before and used, a poster, for example, that's on the wall. So you can be stood from across the room, as long as obviously you can see that cursor, then the device can pick it up. So that's as far as it goes. It is dependent on light as well. Obviously, if you've got a really bright room, you might struggle to see that cursor the further away. But as I say, it will easily reach the other side of the room. We've used that many a times.
Can it just read one word rather than reading a whole paragraph?
Yeah, the only way to do it with one word would be to either home in to that one particular word using the frame, or you can use the cursor, and then as it starts reading, if you just wanted that one word, if you just press the button once, it stops reading. So you can just have it so it reads one and then you stop it, and that's it, it stops reading then.
That's fine. We've had another one about, so we've had quite a few ones about pausing. I'm just going through the questions, and some people have asked similar questions about pausing. So we've answered that question. We've asked that it doesn't save anything in the memory. Can you pause? So just reading that. Can you change the accent? No, you've done that. We've talked about pause function, so you can do that. Does it record it and read it later? You've said that it doesn't do that, so that's fine. You just set the picture again. When it stops reading something, something that's captured on the device, can you then restart again and re-listen to it? So the next step. So basically, if you've stopped it, so on your recipe, you're doing your method. Can you pause it once you you have to pause it, not stop it? Is that right? So you would say you're
in order for it then to carry on. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. I mean, you can either use the frame and just capture number one of the method, for example, and you can do that step by step. So you can use that frame, home in, capture point number one, finish point number one, get your ingredients weighed out, whatever it is, and then capture point number two again, and then capture point number three. Or, like you say, you can capture all of the method, and then after point number one, double tap, and it'll pause it. When you're ready for the next one, double tap again and it will read number 2, double tap at the end of number 2, and again, and so on and so forth.
This is a good question. Does it allow you to take pictures of multiple pages and then to read them all later, or is it only one page, or like 2 pages at a time, or 1 page at a time?
So it's whatever is within that frame. So I've done it before whereby I've had a book, a double A4 book, for example, and I've moved the device so far away that the frame actually captures both sides of the text. So it'll capture that side and that side, in which case it will just read it to you. Yeah. So similar, like I said, if you've got an A3 poster or you've got a smaller poster, as long as you make sure that those 4 corners cover everything that you want it to read, it will read it. So if you've got a leaflet that's 3 pages, simply move the device far enough away that it captures all of the text and it will read everything that's on that page to you.
That's fine. Can it? That's good, because I think so. So what you're saying is, well, so you can't theoretically turn over a page, can you?
No.
That was the other part of the question. No, that's fine. I thought that.
Orcam are good.
Yeah, they're not that good yet. Getting there.
But they can't look through pages just yet.
Not yet.
Unfortunately.
No. Can it read other languages?
Yes, so it does have the ability to read different languages, and again, that's things like that's the updates that come through on it as well. But at the moment, similar with the other products that Orcam do, it's the UK version is designed to read 3 languages, so that's French, English, and Spanish.
Okay, so I have a question. I think this is a brilliant question. Can it be read? What's the function like outdoors in sunlight?
It's still very, very good. Very good. I mean, when I did that demonstration, to give you an example, I had my blind open here and you could see that it was a really nice day, which is not very often. But and even then, you could see all 4 corners of the frame. You could see the cursor even further, further away when I was using the product demonstration. So I think even outside, if you can see those 4 corners, then absolutely, and it does. You can definitely see them even in sunlight outside.
That's good. In cursor mode, how much text does the picture take? Will it read a whole paragraph or more or less than that?
So it will read whatever's on that page. So if you've got, for example, if I just show you this book, so if you've got this whole book here, okay, and say I take the picture, say I place my cursor here, okay, it will read here and it will continue to read until there's no more text on the page. So not only does it take a picture of where the cursor is, but it takes a picture of the rest of the page.
Right. We've had 3 questions. Will it read handwriting?
Unfortunately, no, the device doesn't read handwriting. It's printed and it's digital text. Unfortunately, some people have much neater handwriting than others. Depending how neat your handwriting is, I'll be honest. If you've got very neat handwriting, then maybe. But no, it's not designed to read handwriting.
So we've had lots of questions about can they use it in an exam? Is it approved? Okay. Is it approved for exam access arrangements?
Okay, so obviously this is still a brand new device on the market. So this is still something that Orcam are looking into. Now, the only thing we need to establish with regards to the exam is the Wi-Fi function. Obviously, most devices that are used in exams are not able to connect to the internet for obvious reasons. Ours, as I say, doesn't need to connect to the internet in order to work, and because you can't necessarily search the internet on it or anything like that, it will just connect to a Wi-Fi. Then there is no reason to say why it can't be, but this is something at the moment, it's not necessarily approved. This is just something that we're in the process of starting with the exam board, but there's no reason to say why not. As I say, it connects to Wi-Fi, but not in the situation whereby you can search the web or anything like that. So there's no reason to say, but leave that one with us. That is something that we are currently working on at this moment in time.
So this one's really good. So what happens to the photo once it's been read? Are they just deleted once they've been read out loud?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's just deleted. As I say, it's not connected to anything, so it can't go anywhere. So it takes a picture of the page, and then as soon as it's finished the page, it's just gone. So again, if you wanted to read it again, you would then need to take another picture of it. So that just proves that it's not stored anywhere, which again, for security reasons, is perfect.
So I have a question here that you may not be able to answer, but you can always say, Aaron, you answer this question. How does it compare to a seepen? I am looking for this for my 10-year-old son.
Okay. So the difference, obviously, we're aware of the seepen and what the seepen does. The difference here is with a seepen you have to kind of go through each line, and obviously you have to kind of highlight each line. The difference with this is you don't need to do that. So as I say, you simply take a picture. It takes a picture of the whole page in one, and as I mentioned before, what that allows you to do is then to move on to something else. You don't have to sit there and read it as it's reading. Okay, that can be reading to you, and you can be looking at the next page. So that's the difference in the fact that it takes an instant picture and it starts reading back to you. So you simply do it all at the push of a button. So one click, move the device away, and it reads it to you. So that's the difference. If you've got anything else to add there, Aaron, then please feel free to do so.
No, I think for me it is. They are very different products, and
Absolutely.
I was just thinking about my life in the AT world and remembering a product that was that I think I still have one in a box somewhere here at home, which was the Intel Reader, which is basically it was a device about this big that had a screen on it, and you had to hold it really steady to take a picture of the page. And if
Yeah.
you wanted to take a picture of a book, you had to have the stand to put it in to hold it steady to take the picture of it. And
Okay.
and to me, it's definitely the technology is just amazing. It is, and I think that
Yeah.
the two products are very different products. It is that one is a scanning product and one is a photography product. One uses a
Absolutely.
picture, so I think they are very different. I think they use different technology, which is amazing.
Of course. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Does it have a shutter function? That's what a question is, and I don't know what they mean by that question. I would think that
No, I'm not sure what you mean.
I think it is. It's a camera question. Does it close the shutter when it's not on? But I don't think
No,
it's
not at all. Yeah,
yeah.
so if I can just quickly show you just on there, you can see the camera there at the front.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that sometimes on a camera you have it whereby it shuts the lens.
Yeah.
I'm presuming maybe that's what they mean, but
Yeah.
no, it's just the camera's just built in there, so you don't need to worry about it.
Right.
What you see on the device is exactly, there's nothing else that comes down or shuts or anything like that. That is the whole device. And as I mentioned, all the buttons across the top are all raised as well. So we mentioned before, for people who are potentially visually impaired, you can feel all the buttons as well. So that's a really good point. And all the buttons are different sizes and different lengths. So that helps you identify between the buttons. So for example, the trigger button is a circular button, the plus and minus button are plus and minus, and then your power button is sort of longer and thinner. So you can differentiate between the buttons, which is good.
Yeah. That's good. The question about this question is just about you've answered this question. It can read on the computer. It just says I'm working with dyslexic university student who might capture this reading function, and it's able to, so it's not able to transfer anything. That is what it can't do. It can't transfer data.
No.
That's fine.
No, it's standalone, completely offline,
Yeah.
and it will take the picture and it will read it to you, and then
That's
the picture
fine.
will disappear.
That's good. Can it be connected to? Has it ever been tested to be connected to Apple AirPods?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So the wireless headphones, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't own a pair. I'm not that technical yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, it does. And the reason I know that is because some of my colleagues have got those as well. So I know for a fact, when we're doing sort of online webinars and online meetings and stuff, I can see that they have those in, and I know for a fact that the device is connected. So yeah, Alexa, Google Home, anything like that. Your wireless headphones, yeah, earpods, yeah, AirPods, yeah.
That's fine. So I'm just going through a lot of the questions. So the question I've been asked about 12 times, which I've held off to the last minute, is so the question is, how much does it cost?
Okay, so the device is £1,800, and as I say, that is for leading technology. So that is technology that isn't out there at the moment. This handheld device, there isn't another handheld device on the market that can capture a full page of text in a second at one push of a button and start reading it back to you. So,
yeah, that's fine. And then the question that leads on to that, is there any trial periods for the devices? So can you
So,
trial the device for free first before you buy it?
So at the moment, it's not something that we currently offer. However, you know, as I say, this is still a brand new device in the market. So it is, you know, as a company, we are still sort of, you know, trialing this, and we do want people, and we absolutely, you know, want people's feedback on this device, because that just helps us to improve it where it needs to be improved. So if, depending, you know, where your question came from, depending, you know, that's something that potentially we can discuss if it was something, because I think for us it's important to get everybody's feedback on the device, and if there's anything that, you know, we can maybe include on the device, include as an update, you know, then that would be really beneficial for us as well as for you. As I say, we, you know, this is a brand new product, so we are absolutely open to feedback on this, and this is exactly what we want from you guys.
Is it available in DSA?
It is. So it is a DSA approved product.
Yeah.
It is available in DSA and also access to work.
That's fine. And of course you can purchase this from Dyslexia Box, can't you? So lots of people have asked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lots of people have asked where can you
all the
purchase it
details
from?
are on their website. Yeah,
That's
all
fine.
the details are on their website. Yeah, we work closely with Dyslexia Box to, you know, promote these products. So yeah, absolutely. If you've got any questions, contact myself, contact Ben at Dyslexia Box, and we'd be more than happy to help you with these.
This is a really cool question. I like this one, and I don't know what the answer is. Is it possible to read Braille?
Ooh, now that's not something that we've tried. I mean, digital text, it will read anything. That's what it's designed to do. So there's no reason why it wouldn't.
Yeah.
And like we've mentioned before, you know, it would read online. So there's no reason, but I have to say that's not something that I have tried.
That's fine. Can you get it? You can get it through access to work as well. Then I take it.
Can, yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Can it read tables and graphs?
Yeah, so it will read it in columns. So if I take into consideration my recipe before that I read, so it will always read down the left-hand side first, and then it will go to the right-hand side. So for example, on that recipe, it read the title and it read the small text just underneath the title, and then it went straight and it read the whole of the ingredients, and then it moves on to the method. So depending how your graphs are laid out, if it's a table, for example, that's you know, it will read all the way down the left, and then it will move right and read all the way down the right, and then move right again. So graphs a little bit different. It will only read the text that's on the graph. Obviously it's not going to identify that it's a graph or anything like that, but it will read the text, and it will always go from left over to right.
Okay, that's good. So I'm just copying a question because it's a question that we need to answer offline. Sorry, doing three jobs at once, but listen to you. You've said it. You're
doing a very good job.
This is really good. This is brilliant for my dyslexia, everyone, because it's like being dyslexic. It's really hard to read some of the questions. So, would you recommend this for? Is it designed more for infant children, older children, adults? What's the recommendation on the design of the device for?
Well, because it is such a simple device to use, there isn't any, you know, recommendations on who can use this. So to give you an answer, obviously we've got these products out there on the market now, and these range from, I mean, young children. The difference nowadays is young children are very technical. You put a product in front of them, and straight away they know how to use it before you do. So, you know, because it is so simple, it's at the push of a button. It doesn't matter that there's no age restrictions on this whatsoever. You know, the lasers appeal to children as well. Having the lasers on the page is quite cool. But because the device is, you know, it's such an impressive piece of technology that actually it's for people who are older as well, and, you know, potentially have those reading difficulties, and, you know, want to sit and want to enjoy reading a book or enjoy reading the newspaper in the morning. So there isn't really a recommendation on that. I mean, it's a gadget, you know, it's a piece of technology that so far, you know, we've had some great feedback on this device, as you can imagine. I know I keep saying it, but there isn't anything out there on the market at the moment. Yeah. So no, I mean, we've got children that, you know, use our devices, and I mean, just seeing them read their own books, and, you know, it's fantastic. It really, really is.
So I'm going to just read this comment out. It says, "Great demonstration webinar, really innovative. Thank you." So that's really good. So I have a question here. So the question here, there is a battery, right? Is there a battery pack? Does the device switch off? Switch to? Or is it how long does the battery last? And can you? And I think they're kind of. Can you plug a USB battery into it, or is it? Or how long does the battery last, basically?
Okay, so this battery, so if for example you were using it constantly, so you were literally reading a book page to page and you were constantly reading it, you'd be looking around about 3 hours it would last. However, most people use this a bit more intermittently, so they'll similar depending what you're doing. Again, I refer to the recipe because a lot of people now are baking, so it makes perfect sense to to refer to that. But if you're using it intermittently, this device can last up to all day, and we've got people out there that have genuinely said that, you know, and I use it during the day. I'll use it for reading something, and then I might use it for reading an email. If you're using it intermittently, it will last all day. Now there is a USB port just on the back there, just to show you.
Yeah.
Can you see there?
Yeah, you can see the USB-C.
So again, it's so you can plug that into, if you've got a battery pack, for example, or plug it straight into the charger. And as I say, you can use the device while it's charging as well. So we've got a long lead that's connected. So again, if you're at a desk, I mean, I plug mine in underneath, and then I continue to use it as well. And it only takes around about an hour to 90 minutes in order for it to charge in full, obviously depending where it's up to. You can pop it into standby mode, so that helps preserve the battery. So rather than pressing and holding the off button, if you just press the off button once, it will kick into standby mode. And then when you're ready to use it again, press that off button and it will power up and say, you know, we're ready to go again. So there's loads of different ways that you can use to preserve the battery. But again, great device. If you're using it quite intermittently, again, you're talking all day. It can last all day. Pop it onto charge overnight, and by the following day, it's fully charged again.
That's fine. Someone said there, brilliant device. Thank you so much. So I'm just reading questions. Can it read math symbols?
Yes, it'll read a math symbol. So similar to, and this is why I keep referring to it, you're probably bored of me saying the recipe book, but that's why I use that one, because you've also got things on there like, you know, 500 grams, 3 ounces, and then when we're saying about, you know, gas mark 6, for example, it said slash, so that just proves that it can read the symbols. Yes, so math symbols, numbers, anything like that, it will read.
Someone's just said they've mentioned another product that I don't know, and I'm trying to decode it myself. But they said this looks much more powerful than that. Someone said a good call. It works on standalone. Can you record the voice like with audio note taker? So does it have a voice recorder concept with it or not?
No. So again, just reiterating the point that it is just you know, it's a standalone device on its own, so it won't link up to a you know, a separate recorder or anything like that. I mean, the only way you can record it is by, you know, recording it on a separate device while it's speaking, but there's no recorder built into it.
That's fine. So for the UK audience, are there any plans to read Welsh?
Okay, great question. As I say, anything when it comes to kind of updating the device, as you can imagine, being an Israeli company, the technology is unbelievable what they do. 80% of our company are R&D. Okay, so that just shows you the amount of work that we put into these technologies and we put into building these devices. That is something that absolutely I can ask the question. I can push to our head office. And the great thing is about Orcam, and this isn't me just saying it, I mean, I've been with the company sort of 6 months now, so I'm still relatively new, but they genuinely listen to feedback. So, you know, we work, as I say, across the UK, and if we get feedback from somebody and it's a, you know, a genuine piece of feedback that we can actually take on board, we will do. So something like that, you know, absolutely we can take that on board, and if we can implement it. And what it can be as well is if you're looking for a Welsh specific device, then that's something that we can do again. So rather than putting it on everybody's device, for example, we can just make sure that it's on that one device. So yeah, definitely something we can discuss.
Okay. How does it work in poor light?
So in poor light, so this is something that I wanted to, I'm glad this one came up. So just below, if I just show you here, so you've got the camera at the top, and then beneath here, that's where the lasers come out from there. Now, what you've also got there is an LED flash. Okay, so what happens is when the lighting's maybe not sufficient enough, so if, for example, you could be in a restaurant in the evening, it's quite dark lighting and you're using it to read the menu, if the lighting isn't great, what will happen is when the camera goes to take that picture, it will actually activate the LED flash. So simultaneously, the LED flash will come on at the same time as the camera. So the camera is able to take the picture basically in perfect light. So lighting is regardless, because even if it's not great lighting, it will activate the flash and that will allow it to take the picture.
That's
so
great.
I'd like to say we thought of everything.
That's fine. The price of £1,800, is that excluding VAT?
It is, yeah. And the reason why that we mentioned before about visually impaired, this device it's targeted at a number of different people, and a lot of our customers, some of them are registered blind, in which case you are sort of VAT exempt. So yeah, that's excluding
fine.
that.
Can it read QR codes?
Absolutely. So the reason why I said that so enthusiastically is because when you connect it to the Wi-Fi, that's how you connect it to the Wi-Fi. Okay, so just to quickly talk you through this. So in order to connect it to your home Wi-Fi, as I mentioned, just to receive those updates, you log onto the internet and you can just type in Orcam Wi-Fi. It will bring you up to a page whereby you just pop in your provider and the password. So for example, your home provider, type in the password as well, and a QR code will appear on screen. You head into the menu on the Orcam Read, and when you get to the Wi-Fi settings, it will say read QR code. You simply point the device towards the QR code, press the trigger button that we all know is at the front of the device, and it will read that QR code. So absolutely, it will read them.
Does the cost include a warranty or damage? What's the warranty and damage cover on it if it's dropped? And what's it like being dropped?
So the warranty on the Orcam Read is a 1-year warranty. Now, with regards to the device and it being dropped, I mean, it's not indestructible. I wish it was, but unfortunately it's not. But as Orcam know, we provide it's small pieces of devices. So we also know that it can be dropped. But the technology, in here, it's a robust piece of kit. You can drop it, and hence why we also provide this. We also provide a lanyard. The lanyard for the Orcam Read, you'll notice, is substantially longer, and that just means that you can use it a little bit further away. But we do just recommend, obviously, always pop the lanyard around your neck, and it just means that you don't also pop it down somewhere and forget where you put it as well. So. But yeah, I mean, you can drop it. Unfortunately it's not indestructible, but it does come with a warranty.
That's fine. So I'm just looking, because we're just coming. I'm just looking at the time, and I'm just going. Does it have it doesn't have an inbuilt dictionary, does it?
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. But it will recognise, a piece of text, and it will read it. And I hope you saw from the demonstration as well just how accurate it is. It will read it word for word, and the wording is absolutely perfect.
Fine, and I'm just checking through the questions I've got here, because I think we've answered most of these. What's it like with symbols like hash symbols and that kind of symbols within text?
Yeah. So we did it again, just reiterating, when we did it and the recipe, you had that first method that said about, gas mark 6 / 220 degrees, whatever it was, and it read it perfectly. So the symbols are built in, absolutely. So it will read it exactly how you saw it there. So if it's within the text, it will just read it. Yeah.
That's fine. So someone said great product, well worth watching. Do you offer training for people? Do you offer a training for people if they're going to go out to use it or train other people, like a trainer?
Absolutely. So with all of our products, we work with distributors. So as I say, Dyslexia Box. So it would be up to obviously Dyslexia Box to provide training on products like this. But again, we don't just leave the customer to it. You know, it's an advanced piece of technology, although very, very simple to use. Things like the menu, you know, we'll go through the menu in detail, just so you know exactly how to use it, because we don't want to give you a device whereby, you know, you can't get the best out of it. These devices are fantastic and we want you to use it to its full potential. So the only way to do that is by fully training you on the product.
Yeah, that's fine. As part of that training, do you offer a CPD certificate as part of that training? So this is for, like, I think this is from a DSA assessor concept.
Yeah, it's, as I say, it's an approved product on DSA. As I say, we work, I mean, as maybe a lot of people know, we work with distributors, so it would be up to, I guess it would be up to them to provide that. That's something that I would need to check. I'm not 100% sure on that.
That's fine. And there's two more questions. So one of them is there a payment plan option for the device?
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I thought
you. Is there a payment plan? I was going to answer that question. Answer that one, and then there's the last question I'm going to read out, which I think is quite cool.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so payment plan option. Yeah, so there are constantly things that we are looking into in terms of doing this, in terms of, you know, bringing this to the market. A payment plan option is something that we are putting a lot of resources into at the minute in order to provide this for people. You know, this device, as we say, it covers such a big range of people. So we mentioned about young children, to perhaps older people that would use this as well. So there is definitely plans in the pipeline to be able to provide payment options for people. You know, we understand the price. There is a reason why it's that price, and obviously, as I've mentioned, it's to do with all the AI technology, you know, everything that's built into that device, and again, it's market leading. But as I say, payment plan option is something that's definitely something that is 100% in the pipeline. Believe me.
And the last question is what's it like of reading chemical symbols like CA, OX, and so forth?
So anything. So if you've got like a 2-letter, for example, chemical symbol, I'm trying to think how it might do it. It would. You know what? Let's see if there's. I'm just trying to see if there's anything.
I think it'd be interesting. That's something that we can definitely look at. The person who asked that question, if you want to drop an email to the webinar system when it comes, send you an email. I'll send that email on so Lauren can have an experiment with that, because I think that would be fascinating to me. That's all the questions in the question box. We've answered all the questions. That we've had lots of repeats of questions. I've been skimming through the questions. Most of the questions we've answered all together. I think it was really good. It is. So there's just one question there. VI users were asking what. So that's all about. That's a question. That person there. I'm going to just send that person an email because I can understand that question. It needs to be an offline question. So I'm going to end the webinar now because it is 11:05, and there's so this person says big thumbs up, great training session, so excited. So that's really cool. I think it was brilliant, Lauren. I was fascinated about it. I purposely did not watch the video that Lauren sent me so I could watch it with you. I knew what it was about because I've known Orcam for a long time. I think it's a brilliant product. I'm really excited to play with one when I can do. So again, it's everyone's saying thank you, really exciting. So it's really nice to see. So we'll send out the recording. And thank you again, Lauren. Amazing talk. You did amazingly well there. So I'm going to end the webinar for everyone, and we will send out the recording probably in the next. Hopefully by the end of today, I will get the recording out to people. So thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Lauren. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the day, everyone. Stay safe, everyone. Cheers.